Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a really fascinating journey. We're going to start by zooming all the way in on a tiny single microsensor, and then we're going to zoom all the way out to see how millions of these devices come together to run an entire living, breathing smart city. We're talking, of course, about the Internet of Things, or IoT. And honestly, by the time we're done here, you're going to look at the physical world around you in a completely different way. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The core of IoT, 2. IoT architecture explained, 3. How devices communicate, 4. The power of 5G, 5. Scaling to smart cities, and finally, 6. Securing the connected world. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The core of IoT.
So what exactly is the Internet of Things? Basically, it describes physical objects that are embedded with sensors, processing power, and software that exchange data with other systems. But, here's a really important distinction. The name Internet of Things is actually a bit of a misnomer. These devices don't necessarily need to be connected to the public internet that you and I use every day to browse the web. They just need to be connected to a network and be individually addressable to become intelligent. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the massive contrast in how this technology is actually applied. We generally split IoT into two camps, consumer and industrial. On the consumer side, think of things like your smart home thermostat or a video doorbell. They use Wi-Fi, they're affordable, and if your smart light bulb drops its connection for a few minutes, you might be slightly annoyed, but the impact's totally minor. But look over to industrial IoT, or IIoT. This is a completely different ballgame. We're talking about sensors monitoring heavy factory machinery, massive pipelines, or agricultural irrigation. In these environments, continuous uptime is absolutely critical. If an industrial temperature sensor on a huge machine loses its connection, it can't predict an overheating event, and that leads to catastrophic equipment failure, massive financial costs, and severe safety risks. The underlying tech is similar, but the stakes, they literally couldn't be more different.
Section 2. IoT architecture explained.
An IoT system operates in 4 distinct stages. And honestly, the best way to understand this is to compare it to human reflexes. Stage 1 is data collection. This is the sensing part. It's just like your hand touching a hot stove. Stage 2 is transmission, sending that signal through a network, kind of like your nervous system sending a panic signal up your arm. Stage 3 is processing. The cloud or edge computer thinks about the data, just like your brain registering, wow, that stove is hot. And finally, stage 4 is action, an automated response, like pulling your hand back or sending a critical alert to a human operator. If we follow that data flow from the bottom up on this diagram, you see sensors collecting raw data from the physical world. Then we have the processors adding a layer of intelligence. But notice that gateways block in the middle? Gateways are incredibly important. They act as the crucial translators in this whole system. They take the raw, often very simple data from a tiny sensor and route it correctly, translating it into a format that those massive cloud applications at the top can actually understand and use.
Section 3. How devices communicate.
So you might be wondering, how exactly does a tiny battery-powered sensor talk to a server that's miles and miles away? Well, the answer is they use different languages or communication protocols depending on the specific job. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all here. You have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which are great for high bandwidth, but man, they're power hungry. If you put a Wi-Fi sensor out in a farm field, the battery would be dead in days. Then you have Zigbee, which is fantastic for smart homes and energy meters because it uses low-power mesh networking. Basically, the devices talk to each other to pass the message along like a bucket brigade. And finally, LPWAN, like LoRaWAN. This is the heavy lifter for remote areas. It allows low bandwidth communication over very long distances, which is perfect for something like a remote soil moisture sensor that needs to run for years on a single battery. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most efficient ways they handle that data, the MQTT protocol. Instead of a sensor constantly keeping a network connection open, which, again, totally kills the battery, we use this publisher, broker, and subscriber model. The sensors on the left are the publishers. They literally just wake up, send a tiny pocket of data to the central broker, and instantly go right back to sleep. Then the applications on the right, the subscribers, grab that data from the broker whenever they need it. It is incredibly lightweight and an absolute game changer for preserving battery life on remote devices.
Section 4. The power of 5G.
Now, we hear a lot about 5G when it comes to our smartphones, right? But for the Internet of Things, 5G is a structural revolution. Yes, for sure, it offers faster data transfer, but look at that third point, lower latency. We're talking about delays being reduced to mere milliseconds. For things like industrial robotics or autonomous vehicles, a split-second delay is literally the difference between a seamless operation and a massive crash. Also, and this is kind of surprising, 5G actually improves device energy efficiency. Because the network transmits those tiny data packets so incredibly fast, the sensor's radio is turned on for just a fraction of the time, saving huge amounts of battery over its lifespan. Plus, 5G networks are purpose-built to handle millions of devices in a single square mile without crashing, which brings us perfectly to our next macro-level topic.
Section 5. Scaling to Smart Cities.
So when you scale this up, IoT is fundamentally rewiring major industries. In manufacturing, it's predicting machine failure way before it happens. In agriculture, it's monitoring soil health to save millions of gallons of water. In healthcare, wearable devices are sending vital signs to doctors in real time. And in retail, it's enabling automated checkouts and precisely tracking shelf inventory. But what happens when you combine all of this into a single geographic area? You get a smart city. Imagine a city that acts like a living, breathing organism. Traffic management systems use road sensors to optimize red lights and instantly reduce congestion. Waste management teams only dispatch their trucks to trash bins that have actively signaled they are full. Smart parking apps guide you directly to an empty spot, saving you from endlessly circling the block and burning fuel.
So, the crucial point is how all this underlying architecture actually comes to life in everyday infrastructure. Let's look at a prime example. Smart streetlights. This right here is the absolute perfect example of IoT in action. Imagine a street that lights up brightly only when someone is nearby and automatically dims down when the road is totally empty. Kind of like those motion-activated lights in a home, but on a massive scale. By using simple ambient light sensors to detect exactly when the sun sets and motion sensors to detect approaching pedestrians or vehicles, the system processes that data instantly and reacts. The streetlights talk to a gateway, the gateway talks to the cloud, and the city can monitor its entire lighting grid remotely. This kind of automation massively reduces a city's energy consumption, lowers maintenance costs, and dramatically improves public road safety. It really is the perfect marriage of simple hardware and complex cloud intelligence.
Section 6. Securing the Connected World. Now, as amazing as all this is, mapping out the OSI stack here reveals a pretty daunting, complex web of vulnerabilities. Because we're taking simple, dumb objects and turning them into smart, internet-connected devices, we are massively expanding the attack surface for hackers. You've got passive attacks like traffic analysis and eavesdropping, all the way up to highly aggressive active attacks. Everything from physically tampering with a sensor node on a street lamp, to flooding the network with fake data, to routing attacks that try to hijack the entire system. When a city's traffic lights, its power grids, and its water systems are all online, cybersecurity is no longer just about protecting data, it's quite literally about protecting physical human lives.
Which leaves us with this final, rather provocative thought. The Internet of Things gives us the incredible power to build highly sustainable, efficient smart cities. But as 5G allows us to connect literally billions of new physical devices to our world, how do we balance that rapid, exciting innovation with the monumental challenge of securing it all? It's a massive technological tightrope, and how we walk it is going to define the future of our urban lives. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep looking around you, because the world is getting smarter every single day.